Hello, welcome to Topper Machine. I'm Josh Topper. In today's job we are going to fabricate up the forkable base for the Giant Vibratory Tumbler. Now most of the time with these tumblers you bolt them directly to the concrete. I don't have that luxury, I don't have that space. So we need to make basically a heavy duty pallet that I can fork this thing outside so it's not so noisy in the shop and fork it around, get it out of my way when needed. So let's get over to the saw and start cutting some material. All right, so what I'm making this out of is a bunch of 3/4 by 3 flat, hot rolled flat, and I need 5 4-foot pieces to start with. So all my bars are cut, and I got my tubes here. These I had, they're 3x6 box tube. These are gonna be our fork pockets. And I'm gonna go ahead and just get these all cleaned up, deburred, and we'll start laying it out on the floor and getting it all organized the way I want it. Now I decided to do this on the floor instead of the welding table for 2 basic reasons. 1, I can get the forklift to it easy. And 2, it's under the gantry crane here, so I can lift the thing and manipulate it the way we need to. So all right, so this is the general arrangement of the bottom side, and this will all get welded up square, tacked up, and then there'll be a vertical brace, or going this way, on each one of these, and then the machine will get bolted to the top of this. So this will get boxed in, framed up, and be a pretty solid unit, but then it'll get a lot of extra support, and then I'm going to decide if I want to add something to the bottom yet besides. And I've got some rubber feet to put on here as well. So let's get tacking this up, at least get one side tacked up and see where we're at. All right, there's the first welds. That's square. I'll go ahead and start laying everything else out. We'll get it all squared up, tack it all together, and then we'll start cutting the vertical pieces that go in there to stabilize this thing. Well, I'm all tacked up. It's not going anywhere. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my end pieces to box in that full end, and then we'll cut this inset pieces for the middle and get all that laid out. So we're going to have gusseting everywhere on this thing. It's going to be pretty rigid. All right, so I cut them a little short, an inch short, so that I got a 1/2 inch of overlap here on my top, and I'm gonna do a 1/2 inch on the sides, and we'll just get that tacked in so it can't go anywhere, and then we'll start cutting all the internal pieces. All right, now that we're all tacked up, I'm gonna cut these gussets first. Looks like 6 3/8, 6 1/2. 6 1/2 would be tight, so I'm gonna go 6 3/8, and I'm gonna cut 10 of them. Okay, now because this is just a gusset and we don't need nice square edges, I'm just gonna do this on the iron worker. And since I'm already here, I measured the inside ones. We'll cut those 5 right now. Well, I'm going to lay these out and tack them in as I go, starting on that end, working this way. And then once that's all done, then we'll start welding this thing solid. All right, we're all tacked up, ready to get on with the welding. And you're probably wondering why these ones are offset like that. It's because of the base of the machine and the bolt pattern, and I'll be able to drill through this one and bolt it down easy there. And then the other ones are actually going to come through into the tube a little bit, but that's not a big deal. We'll drill and tap those. All right, well, you see me jumping around a bit, and that's to dissipate the heat so we don't affect one zone in just one area. So that's why I'm skipping around, and I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna just keep skipping around as I go. So I'm gonna stop filming here because nobody wants to just watch me weld for the next 3 hours, or hour, probably an hour. But then once this is done, then we'll bring the tumbler in here and start getting that laid out for the holes and get it drilled, tapped, and mounted. All right, all the welding is done with a few added features. And those features are in each corner. And if you can see down in there, you see a nut welded. That is a rubber mount leveling pad. And so I have access from the top to screw those in and out as needed. And it really doesn't take a lot, but this thing is pretty stout. I mean, she don't move. And I think this is gonna work great. So let me go get the tumbler, and we'll bring it inside and set it right on top of this pallet. We'll disassemble it, set the base on, transfer our holes, then bolt that sucker down and reassemble it. So now the first thing I need to do here is to lift the tub off of the base, and the tub is not affixed to the base in any way other than the V-belt, and it sits on the springs. That's what allows it to rock. So we just lift it right off. We'll get the tub out of the way, and then we'll get the base off of the pallet it's on, and then reposition it on the new pallet and mark out the holes, drill them, tap them, and then reassemble this thing as it should be. All right, I got it roughly laid in there where I want it. I think this is gonna work good. I've got it offset to one side for one reason. This leaves space for the future water tank I'm gonna build. For the time being, I'm just gonna use like a tub of some kind, just set it on there. But eventually I'll build a tank for the liquid that runs through the tumbler and cycles back through. So that'll be off to that side. Or offset, which isn't gonna hurt anything. It's still gonna be just fine. There's gonna be a lot of weight here. So let's go ahead and mark those holes. All right, so what I have here is my small set of transfer punches. These go from 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And I already found the size that works. And all they are is a punch with a little dimple in it for making the center mark, but they're the size of your hole. Every shop should have a set of these, at least the small ones, and they're real simple. Just stick it in your hole. And now I've got my mark for my drill. All right, there's our nice center punch mark. There's one there. Let's see, the other one is right there and right here. So now we got to drill all those and tap them. So when I was thinking about drilling this, I was thinking about throwing this thing right on the radial drill and just drill it on there, but I thought, nah, I got enough stuff in the way right now. I can't get the forklift in the shop. I got to get this done. So we're just gonna go ahead and use my probably model number 1, serial number 1 Milwaukee mag drill that I've had for a lot of years and probably have used it 5 times. So let's give this thing a little workout. All right, I'm all lined up. I got my 1732 drill in there. I'll give it a dab of anchor lube and we'll get drilling. Well, 1 down, 3 to go. All right, I got them all drilled. I'm just gonna hand tap them. I got my 5/8 11 tap here. Use some anchor lube on that as well, and this will go really well. And you know, the next thing we'll do is assemble this, and before anybody asks why I'm not painting it or when I'm gonna paint it, paint doesn't pay the bills. Working equipment does. All right, she's all tapped, all cleaned up. Let's bring the base back over, get it in place, and bolt it down. All right, she's all bolted down. I may have to tighten it again after I run it a while, but should be good. Let's get the bowl on there and let's give this thing a test run. Well, there she is, all mounted on her skid. Let's test it out, see how it forks. Well, that forked really well. I'm very happy with it overall, but I got it plugged in. Let's see how it runs. Let's see if it's quieter. Wow, much better. Hardly any vibration down in that base. Doing really well. Well, I'm very happy with the outcome. This thing is running really nice, very smooth. I'm actually surprised how much better it's running on this pallet versus the one it came on when I first test ran it, and ran a few parts that way. But this is going to work amazingly well. So we'll go ahead and next thing I'll probably work on when I have a little free time is getting a tank built. For right now, I'll probably just build or take a plastic tote or something and use that, put the pump in it, and that'll work for now. But I got some wiring to do. I want to add a timer to this so I can set, multiple hours or whatever, and then we'll be ready to go, right in business. And as far as like I commented earlier about painting the base, not going to happen. Paint doesn't make it run better. Paint is just something you do when you have extra time or it's a job going out to a customer. This is a working shop. We got to keep working on jobs that pay the bills and not work on things that take time. So eventually when there's some free time, we'll probably paint it. But as of right now, it looks good, it works good, and it's doing what I need it to do. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.